going to dive into something pretty interesting. How much Elon Musk claims to have saved the US government, and what that might have actually cost us. It's a bit of a tangled web, so let's try to unpick it in the next piece. First off, it's important to differentiate between what Elon Musk, particularly through his role with the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, under the Trump administration, claimed to save, and what his companies, like SpaceX and Tesla, have received in government support over the years. These are two different, but often intertwined, discussions. Let's start with the savings claims. Musk, through DOGE, has asserted some pretty big numbers. Initially, he aimed to slash the federal budget by trillions, then revised that to $1 trillion, and more recently, DOGE has claimed to have saved around $160 billion. This was supposedly achieved by things like canceling contracts, consolidating leases, and workforce reductions within federal departments. Sounds impressive on the surface, right? But here's where it gets complicated. Several analyses, including one from the Nonpartisan Partnership for Public Service, PPS, strongly disputed these savings. In fact, some reports suggest that DOGE's actions might actually end up costing taxpayers a significant amount, potentially as much as $135 billion in this fiscal year alone. How could that be? Well, the costs are said to come from things like paid leave for federal employees, the expense of rehiring workers who were wrongfully terminated and subsequently won appeals, and even a decline in productivity due to these disruptions and new reporting requirements. There are also analyses suggesting that cuts to agencies like the IRS could lead to billions in lost tax revenue over time. So while the savings figure of $160 billion sounds good, the actual impact on the public purse seems to be a net negative, or at least a lot less than claimed. Now let's pivot to the other side of the coin, the direct financial support Elon Musk's companies have received from the US government. This isn't about saving, but about investment, contracts, and subsidies. And the numbers here are substantial. Since 2008, his various companies, primarily SpaceX and Tesla, have been promised or awarded nearly $21 billion in government funding. Of this, about $8.7 billion has already been paid out. SpaceX, as you might expect, has been the biggest beneficiary. NASA alone has contributed a huge chunk, around $14.6 billion, through contracts for everything from resupply missions to the International Space Station to developing the Starship for lunar missions. The Department of Defense has also been a major partner, promising around $5.6 billion, mostly for satellite launches, including for the secretive National Reconnaissance Office. We're talking about essential national security and space exploration infrastructure here, so these contracts are often framed as strategic investments rather than subsidies in the traditional sense, though they are certainly taxpayer money flowing to his companies. Tesla, while not getting the same scale of direct contracts as SpaceX, has also benefited significantly. Back in 2010, when it was still finding its footing, Tesla received a $465 million low-interest loan from the Department of Energy, which it did repay. Beyond that, Tesla has profited immensely from environmental and regulatory credits. Other car manufacturers that don't meet emission standards often have to buy these credits from companies like Tesla that do, essentially subsidizing Tesla's electric vehicle production. Estimates suggest Tesla has earned billions from these credits. Plus, let's not forget the federal tax credits that consumers receive for buying electric vehicles, which also indirectly boost Tesla's sales. So, when we put it all together, we've got a situation where on one hand, there are claims of substantial government savings through efficiency efforts, which independent analyses suggest are either vastly overstated or actually incur costs. And on the other hand, we have Musk's primary companies having received billions in direct government contracts, loans, and indirect subsidies, often justified as supporting innovation, national security, or environmental goals. Critics often point to what they see as a significant conflict of interest, especially with Musk's role in DOGE while his own companies are major recipients of government funds. There are concerns about whether policies or investigations might be influenced in his favor. For instance, some reports highlight how regulatory actions against his companies have stalled or been dismissed. It also raises questions about fairness and whether these government funds are truly essential for these companies to thrive, given Musk's vast personal wealth. Ultimately, it's a complex picture. On one side, you have the argument that these government investments have been crucial in enabling groundbreaking advancements in space technology and accelerating the electric vehicle transition, which have broader benefits for the US. On the other, there's the argument that a significant amount of taxpayer money has flowed to a billionaire's ventures, and that the claimed government savings might be more smoke and mirrors than actual fiscal responsibility. It really boils down to how you weigh the benefits of supporting these innovative industries against the direct costs and the potential for perceived conflicts of interest. It's definitely a conversation starter, isn't it?